our chat does the what's happening during the game and just whatever Star Trek memes we find in the meantime.
Quite right. I may have to hurt Webby for that joke he left as well. The rainbow,
You know
the bad
daft
rainbows
one
one.
is? That came up on my feed again, and I sent it to my nephew. He sent me the screenshot saying, "You sent me this 2 years back. I've got it already."
Some of these jokes, they just never die.
And then 2 weeks later, it comes.
It's like the Tory party.
Good jokes never die. They just beat you up with their punchline.
Putting the punch in punchline. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Something Star Trek related that did actually have me laughing out loud recently was one of my Kung Fu brothers sent me some of these shorts on a channel called The Millennial Falcon, which I think mixes Star Wars and Star Trek and just makes it funny. And someone had obviously used AI to put Patrick Stewart's voice to a narration of silly shit that the Enterprise crew got up to. And it was, I think it was Captain Picard was taking questions. I can't remember the exact thing, and for the sake of not wanting to step on anybody else's toes, and the fact that we are streaming right now, I'm not going to actually repeat that or whatever.
Yeah, I just realised that.
It was bloody funny. It's amazing what you can do with it. Oh, and your Bejor militia stories. Yes, I always enjoy these.
There's some good ones in that list.
Has anyone else has had a weird moment of looking at the amount of players and just going, "We're missing 2," and then when going, "Oh."
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, we're a bit small. We must be like, "Oh, missing 2," and like, no, we're not. I was like, "Oh, I'm sad now."
If you want, we can open up the sluice gates and invite people in again. We are, after all, short. What are we now? Science, or at least sensors. Helm.
And
if Davis really wants to jump back to chief engineer, first officer.
I mean, we did.
I'm alright.
We sort of had the talk last week, didn't we? Why it wouldn't be that easy. It's less to do with we're missing extra players. It's more that we're missing Mike.
Yeah, and Jan. Both fabulous guys, and we wish them all the best. So, whilst we ruminate in our recent loss...
So, are we changing the bridge to only have a single comm desk in the middle?
And it's got
Just
one
put
button
Nova in
and
it.
It has one button and Clot won't let anyone else touch it.
Well,
Which
you know,
is really
technically...
inconvenient for the helm control.
Technically, Edwards is still free to choose whatever department he wants to end up in. He's still just a lieutenant. You have ended in engineering, but, you know, you can always change.
Engineering's been going alright so far.
In any case...
Now, who were we putting as our engineering second? Because it's still a close run thing.
Oh, yes, we were doing that,
It doesn't have to go on for one day, one session. It can go on for a bit longer. Keep it interesting.
Speaking of interesting, I'm just going to interrupt you there.
Plot thread.
I'm going to throw us into the intro video so we can get started, so don't go away, folks. And this new intro video was made very nicely by Gareth here, so enjoy. Be back in a sec.
Captain on deck.
Captain on the
just
deck.
in time to miss the new intro.
Captain has the con.
Hello, hello, folks, and welcome along to the continuing adventures of the USS Navis. I'm MJ, the GM, and I will be your games master for the next couple of hours. And with me are the whole entire crew of the USS Navis as it currently stands.
Yeah.
We have, of course, had to say goodbye to Mike last week, so we will miss him greatly, but he's welcome to come back whenever he can. So who knows, we may see Lieutenant Ori again.
Lieutenant Commander.
Lieutenant Commander,
You
yes, we promoted him. Yes, quite right,
Promoted
quite
him, yeah.
right. I demoted him because he left me.
It was actually the Lieutenant Commander who actually went to the hot tub, Lieutenant Commander hot tub. Or I was just there collecting it on behalf.
Lieutenant Commander hot tub. So much went on in that hot tub it gained sentience and has become part of the crew.
We'll always have the living mildew he left behind in it.
Part of the ship, part of the crew.
Our first cross-franchise reference of the night. Besides my mentioning the Millennial Falcon earlier. So. Yes.
Millennial Falcon.
Oh, jeez. Follow them into the Badlands, roll a one, yes.
God,
Yes, indeed.
Did anyone roll anything other than a natural one against him?
What, against Dakota?
No, Dakota rolled nothing but natural ones sometimes.
Yeah.
That's an insult to natural ones.
To be fair, I always did chuckle at the moment where he expressed that apparently when he was the captain of the ship he was on before Voyager, nobody on his ship actually worked on him. It was basically him and an entire crew of double agents.
Well, folks.
No, I think there was one.
Go on.
Because I didn't think Torres was a double agent.
Well, she was Klingon and human, so she was double in that respect.
This is a bit of a stretch.
Like it's the least likely thing that Star Trek's ever done.
Not wrong.
Not wrong. We all know that's if you travel at warp 10, you transform into a salamander with a Fu Manchu beard.
Salamander. Thought more looked more like a catfish to me. There we go.
That's been. I'm sure that episode needs retconned.
It didn't happen.
It's right. If that was real, they'd have made this weird series set just before the original with Spock's sister in it.
You'll be saying next that they've trapped God in a barrier at the center of the galaxy or something.
Why does God?
What does God need a starship?
Oh, you raced each other to that quote.
Oh, it's going to be a long night, isn't it?
See how it should have gone. Goes, what does God need for a starship? And God goes, I don't need one, but it's cool. I mean, you must agree with me. With all the crap that you pulled, Kirk, just to be able to pilot a starship, you cannot say that I shouldn't want one.
Heavens knows he wanted one. Alrighty. Doop. So, we're going to start things in a somewhat different fashion than what we were used to previously. Mostly by demand. So, we are going to switch ourselves over to using bridge ambience. As we meet our crew in part of their working day.
So, a Tuesday.
Indeedy.
That's our delivery day.
So, as the Navis is busy going about its business, one of the first things that happens is that with the ship being cruising near the border between currently held Dominion space and Federation space, nothing much has been going on for the last couple of hours. which is a good point. I need to give you an idea as to where we are in time. Let me just check where we are, because we are quite far in now. Yes. So we are 3 days later, after saying our farewells to Lieutenant Commander Ori, resuming patrol along a disputed space. And Commander Vibers is doing a walk down the various corridors when, let me see, we get Lieutenant Kirst stopping Commander Vibers midway through a corridor. Commander, I'm just here to see if it's okay if I can request some extra resources. I need a bit more my main computer time to run some experiments.
How much do you need and how urgent?
Only about an hour's worth. Not terribly urgent, but it would be nice if I could get some time.
Right, I'll see what I can sort out. I think you'll probably get the time you need on the night shift if you're able to cover that.
Yeah.
Night shift.
If I can get you the time on the night shift, it's not inconvenient to anything else, and engineering's not going to be running any diagnostics which will affect your output.
If you say so, Commander, but I was really hoping to get some time this afternoon.
Right, I'll see what we can do.
Thank you, Commander. You're the best. And she happily skips away.
Right. Let's go through the motions for this one.
Speaking of which, whilst Vipers only has to turn a corner, and Commander Okra Bravo of Chief of Security comes around and says, "Oh, Commander, there you are." Hands Vipers a pad. "This is my submission for the crew reviews as far as security personnel go." Sorry, did you forget it was that time again?
Yeah. It is that Tuesday of the month, isn't it? Right, yep, I'll go through them.
Thank you, Commander. I've already underlined all of those who should be up for consideration. Oh, I need to bring something to your attention as well. Why don't we walk and talk?
Yep, just let me make a note on my own pad about cursed computer time, because if I don't, it doesn't exist.
First, requested computer time?
It's fine, research and time politics, nothing unusual. Alright, what's up?
Oh, Lieutenant Natik. He is requesting some time off because, Natik is spawning.
Okay,
Oh,
that
bye.
sounds... how much leeway have we got?
I can shift around Johnson and Sharasi, I think, in order to try and cover Natik. Natik is going to need at least a week. And
Okay.
we're also
Still safe to be on board ship, or do we need to get him to a starbase somewhere a bit more secure for a couple of weeks?
He's requested a small cargo bay for his use, and also asked there to be a biohazard warning put outside the bay he's going to use. They are going to use.
Right. Is that going to put us out in any way, or
I don't think
are we able
so.
to shuffle things around?
Torpedo storage might have to double up in some places. But overall,
I think we can manage that.
I'm in the port nacelle.
Dr.
space,
Bertram is going to need to be notified. I'll do that next, if Natik isn't already doing it. It's to do with the neurotoxin that Zindi insectoid eggs secrete if they discover someone in the near vicinity that isn't the parent.
Okay, bio warning on that area. That's going to be out of bounds, and we'll need security to provide a nursemaid on the area as well. Less for the eggs, more for make sure no innocent ensigns wander in.
Speaking of ensigns wandering in, I had to break up a scuffle between Ensign Cruz and Ensign O'Malley. Apparently, O'Malley accused Cruz of lying about something, and a scuffle ensued.
Is it bad enough that I need to be officially aware of it, or just?
I think it was. I think it was mostly drink, sir, and bruised egos, as well as a bruised face. I've put them both on reprimand in any case. No one's entirely certain who threw the first punch, if any, but for the moment, they've both had brig time logged whilst they were sleeping it off.
Right, I'll let the captain know. They can give him a talking to. Might stop him from doing it again.
Hey, don't bring me into your into your issues. I'm on security detail, mate. You know.
What are you on about? I'm calling dibs.
That seems to be about it, sir.
Okay. Right, I'll pass on the bits I need to pass on, and I'll get you your security things sorted out before they're due, before Starfleet security get put on both our necks. Right.
Bravo stops for a minute and has that that faraway look on his face that suggests he's telepathically sensing something. You've gotten used to the signs. The Bravo brothers, and all Betazoids in general, kind of have this... Not exactly a faraway expression, but it's a case of, bing! Oh, something just came across my senses.
Engineering, astrometrics, or medical?
It's actually Incol and Inlus, my two brothers in science and stellar cartography. I'm not really sure I should say anything, so...
That's fine, I've got enough stuff I need to deal with.
Indeed. But just to make you aware, they're very aware of the fact that it's crew review. If it's any consolation, Commander, all five of us are very satisfied with our current positions. None of us are looking for any more promotions or any such.
I know, but that brings its own headaches.
Admiral Bravo. Admiral Bravo it is. Which one? You have to guess.
Just be aware that our wife is going to be looking for you at some point later on, Commander. Maybe the captain.
Yep. Right. Pass on. You should talk to the captain.
Yes, sir.
Definitely something they'll want to deal with. Okay.
Meanwhile, let us go down to Deck 8, Botany Research. So unfortunately, well actually no, this is a good time for Lieutenant Natik to be around. Dr. Bertram has noticed that Lieutenant Natik has been spending a lot more time in the botanical research area, mostly because, at first because they were spending so much time trying to cultivate their own little plants, and so were using Dr. Bertram's expertise as a way of trying to start on the whole growing things for pleasure and science. Do you have a new Moss lecture coming up? The hairs on the back of my neck are twitching. We're on green alert, people. Green alert. Moss lecture incoming.
I'm glad the Teak at least has been paying attention to the Moss lectures.
But Natik's behavior has changed recently and has started examining a lot more of the larger botanical samples you have, particularly the smaller trees and whatnot.
Yep.
And so, Lieutenant Natik informs Dr. Bertram that when Xindi insectoids are about to lay their eggs, they prefer to lay the eggs on a natural supporting structure, and so plants like trees are a favourite. And so over the past week or so, over the past week or so, Natik, knowing that they're coming close to spawning, have been on the lookout for a small tree that they could use in the cargo bay that they want to requisition for their spawning room, basically. And so is asking Dr. Bertram for permission.
Bertram asks, I see. Is there a particular tree type that you believe will be sufficient for your needs?
One with strong but long branches.
Okie dokie. So strong, long branches.
Maybe this one over here, sir. And points to the one with broad leaves.
Which type of tree is that? Because I assume Bertram would know.
Let's go with yes.
Yeah. The classic, the Martin Oak. I basically looked up superlative trees because that sounds like the sort of thing.
That's dedication. No, I like it.
Yes, classic one from Earth. It's I've often used it for the base level of some of the arboreal experiments. But yes, I don't see any reason why we can't transport this one you're looking at to the cargo boy. Has a particular cargo boy been allotted to you yet?
Not yet, but Commander Bravo was going to request one from the first officer.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'll tell you what, I'll start getting the tools ready, and as soon as one's been available, let me know, and I shall begin helping you transfer one over.
Thank you, sir. It is worth noting, sir, per protocol, that because I will be spawning soon, my young will secrete a neurotoxin when they detect anyone that is not myself close to them. That neurotoxin works upon all humanoid brains to make them fiercely protective of the eggs. So there's going to need to be a biohazard warning, otherwise we might lose other members of the crew besides myself.
That's completely a fair point. Again, once the cargo bay has been allotted, I'll make sure I'm presuming the captain or first officer will ask me through anyway, but I will make sure that the biohazard signal and all other precautions are made to make sure that both inside and outside are secure and healthy for all concerned.
Thank you very much, Doctor.
It's my pleasure. Always glad to help, especially with someone else who truly understands the balance of technology and naturalism around here. I have great faith in the Federation, but sometimes I think they lean a bit too much towards technology and away from other areas.
That's interesting, sir, because I find the Federation to be very interesting. All different types of points of view. Reminds me very much of Xindi Prime.
Yes, how would you how do you rate the life aboard the starship compared to your homeworld?
Well, life aboard starship a whole lot different, especially because a lot of Xindi insectoids look up to people like me. Xindi insectoids who join Starfleet, not very common, so I make it a point to log everything I do and try and be, well, a role model.
I can see what you mean to some degree, especially when you talk about diversity in culture and expressing that to your people. In some ways, that's why I ended up joining Starfleet myself.
Oh, excellent.
It's like you said, diversity. It came down to, at some point, if you're just treading the same place in the same territory, not spreading out and getting other points of view to challenge your own, you're not really bringing as much to your world or your culture or your colony or what have you as you could be.
Exactly. My people, the insectoids indeed, can be forgiven for being quite, you humans have word, alarmist. We do not live very long. In fact, I am considered middle-aged, though I am only 6.
Well,
therefore, we can be seen to be a bit more reactionary.
Well, at least from my point of view, you've been doing a good job blending the experience of an older person with the creativity and the desire to learn of a younger person. So in my view, at least you're doing pretty well.
Thank you very much, sir. The compliment is most appreciated.
Always
I will let you get back to your work now, Doctor. I have a cargo bay to allocate.
Yes. Do let me know when it's allocated and which one I need to start focusing on.
Very good, sir.
Vibes to Edwards.
Commander?
I have a job for you that needs sorting out. We need a cargo bay of... We need a small cargo bay to be cleared and repurposed for Lieutenant Natik's usage. And I need to know what the impact will be on the rest of the ship. You will need to coordinate with Dr. Bertram.
A risk and impact survey. Certainly, sir.
Okay, and this is relatively urgent, so I'd like to get it moving as soon as possible.
Certainly, sir.
Well, let's see. Major cargo decks are on deck 6. Where are the smaller cargo decks? Let's go down and see. So we've got cargo holds Q to S on deck 23. Nothing much.
Just to get through, it was you wanted me to basically you already had this impact on it, or did you say you wanted me to review each one for the purpose?
I want you to effectively find a cargo hold for Lieutenant Natik that's suitable for their use. And I need to know what the impact on the rest of the ship is.
How many cargo bays do we have?
Well, let me see. Apparently on deck 23 you have cargo holds Q and S. I'm trying to find the other ones.
Let's
see.
Commander, could you send me... Actually, no, I won't need that. As long as I've got access to the databanks, I'll need to do a little bit of research before...
You've got whatever research you need, and please talk to Lieutenant Natik.
Certainly. Basically start downloading to a pad, like just a general knowledge on biology and culture of Natik's people, and then just as I start walking to the medbay. Basically, just looking for the average...
As it turns out, deck 10, the entertainment deck, does have cargo hold H, which is just a single cargo hold, so that could do the job.
But that's on the entertainment deck, which is where a biohazard is a really bad thing to have.
Also, we would need to study what the average size spawning is, and then see what type of space it will take up on average, or at least what is preferred, and then cross-reference it with the size of cargo bays, seeing which one would actually be physically like what spaces, and then you have to go through, check and see what's actually in each one of the ones that's potentially ticked as a potential, and see what it would be like to, what impact it would be to get it removed and where we could store it, depending on what is in each of the holds.
That's Edward's busy for an afternoon.
Yeah, there's going to be something I'm going to say to you after the stream, that this is hitting slightly close to home, and I was like, God damn you.
Well, you've got a choice, as far as I can tell. If you want to stay away from the entertainment deck because it's populated, the choices appear to be cargo holds A through G are on deck 6, which is also where you find the primary science labs. Or there's all the way down on deck 23 where you have cargo holds Q through S.
Most likely be, well, first it'd be, as I said, just checking to see which one meets the space requirements, and then
Single
going for the
cargo
ones
hold
that-
will do.
Okay, so so a standardized cargo hold would fit regardless. In my head, I was thinking, going, what's got what size and what is currently right. Right, the bottom ones, what's actually stored in them, or
Whatever you want, Barry. Cargo holds are kept for cargo holds. The beauty
It's
of
basically-
deck 23 is that it is specific to cargo. So it's got cargo holds Q through S and the main cargo transporter. So the cargo bays on deck 23 seem to be where you store the main cargo.
it's specifically like what's got the least disruptive thing to move is what I was more or less thinking.
Well, the good thing
Since
about
the
cargo bays...
transporters are there,
Well, yeah, sorry, go on, Davis.
then since the cargo transporters are on that deck, it's easy to empty and shuffle things on that deck.
Okay, so we wouldn't have anything kind of particularly volatile. Okay,
No,
cool.
you know where the antimatter storage is
I'm
like 2
overthinking
decks
this,
above, I
aren't I?
think. So,
I think I am overthinking this. Okay.
so yes, the antimatter reactant generators are on the decks above, so you should be good sticking the kids by there. Okay. Interesting. There we are, I learnt more about an Yggdrasil class today. 23 decks. Alright, so back to the botany research lab. This is where we can have Dr. Bertram continue his experiments in creating a biological EV suit. You were very close to the end of your genetics avenue of study.
Yep. Then let's see how it goes.
Do you want to try and get... Let me take you to the bridge, actually.
Yep.
Anybody to assist?
Let's see. Who else is available and has genetics, if indeed anyone?
If folks want to have a look around your supporting characters to see if there's anybody that does have genetics.
Although I believe last episode it was suggested by a certain captain not to actually bring in anyone with the surname Eric.
I didn't say that.
I believe it was strongly implied.
Natif might be an idea, because if you're talking genetics, virology as a way to adjust them does actually seem
Ooh.
connected.
That's tenuous, but you're not scientifically wrong, so I will allow that.
Okie dokie. Yep. That's fine with Bertram.
Alright then, sure, and do you fancy being New Teeth? The psycho doctor, apparently. The Romulan agent here to kill you all?
Not all of us. Some of us she still needs. The captain, for example.
So, reason and medicine.
We call a nurse bedside manners for reasons.
Reason and medicine.
3
2
successes
Or
overall.
3 successes.
Nice. Fully come to the end of this avenue of investigation. But even though you have used biotech, xenobiology, and genetics, it still hasn't quite got down what you need. You've monkeyed with the genetics of several different plants. There's just something left with... You're not quite sure what. So you're almost there, but there's still something you haven't quite nailed down that will give you the exact result that you're after. So, you have exhausted biotechnology, xenobiology, and now genetics as your fields of study. The two you identified as others to investigate was aerostatics and quantum mechanics.
Of the two, I'll select quantum mechanics next, because it ties in with Bertram's recent foray into dimensional physics.
All right then, in that case, that will be where we go next. But for now, you have gained a lot of valuable data. It's not a failure at all. It's just that there's something missing. There's a certain something missing that's allowing you to create, essentially, oxygen from nowhere.
Yeah.
As much as a plant can generate oxygen from photosynthesis alone, it's trying to generate it in a controlled fashion that it just doesn't just give off gas everywhere. You're trying to keep it into a set locale, a bubble of breathable air, or a contained area of breathable air. So, certainly something else that needs happening, so we'll go with quantum for the next time. Alright, cool. Captain Andrews. In the captain's ready room, a report on how the Dominion War is going comes across Captain Andrews' data feed. And according to the latest numbers, the USS Merlin and the USS Stargazer apparently noticed enemy patrols going on near the border. And thanks to them, the IKS Mapui was dispatched and managed to take out an enemy flagship detected during this patrol. A rescue attempt was made of a Federation scientific mission near the Shackleton Expanse, which unfortunately failed. But good news is that the USS Mogami managed to rescue a scientific expedition led by Dr. Curtis Des Moines of the Daystrom Institute. Armed forces on Sondale 5 put an emergency request for urgent relief, but so far the USS Randar's Curiosity that was dispatched to answer that call has not reported back. Apparently, Commander Guttrell, Chief Medical Officer of the USS Nightingale, had been seconded to that ship, the Randar's Curiosity, for that mission. So what has become of them so far, there's no indication. But indications are that the Dominion forces are massing for something potentially very big, and so as a result, Admiral April Hebert used Captain Andrews' own connections to request Captain Picard be brought in to assist the 20th Fleet's actions, and the Admiralty also dispatched the USS Lexington to assist. So, stuff and things and stuff. So,
Captain, I've got today's briefing if you have a minute.
Does the captain have a minute? There we are.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, so we've got Lieutenant Kirst after a bit more time on research seems to be going pretty well. Asking for a bit more computer time. I'm going to point Manoa to her and see if that can be sorted out. The teacher's due for maternity leave. Sick bay's working on the birthing chamber with assistance from Edwards. Related to that, we may have a biohazard warning coming up on the cargo deck. Ensign Cruz has got in a fight. Any chance you could have a talk to her when you've got a minute? You'll be able to get through, I can't. And security's reporting. We've got the crew reports, the crew security reports all ready for you, and a few people we checked whether they're suitable for the security department. I've highlighted the ones that seem to be good candidates by Bravo, and so far I agree with his judgment in this one.
All noted, Commander. Thank you.
Unfortunately, I don't have a class 3 comet to point you at, so we might actually have a mission at some point.
Damn.
Okay, around about the same time that this is going on, Lieutenant Nova is just coming back from one of her many sparring sessions with the security recruits. Apparently, Lieutenant Commander Bravo, Chief of Security, likes to bring Lieutenant Nova in to assist with fighting drills, especially because Lieutenant Nova is so damn unpredictable. So he likes to bring his fellow Betazoid in because he knows what kind of chaos she brings, and therefore allows his officers to get some experience at an uncontrollable situation. Not to mention, her luchador acrobatic style of brawling is something they're not exactly used to, and so it gives Nova a chance to actually practice and keep herself sharp.
Relieve some boredom.
What was that, sorry?
Just relieve some boredom.
Exactly. And it's while Nova is still in her workout clothes going towards the showers that Ensign Feazal comes running up behind her. Hey, Nova. Got a request to put by you since you are ops?
Sure, what's up?
Well, a lot of folks have been queuing up some research they want to be doing, and I think it's time I started getting a bit more processing time from the main computer, so how about you put in a good word for me and allocate me some time this afternoon? I need to be examining the local stellar phenomena a bit more closely while we're close to a Class 3 nebula.
What are you hoping to learn?
I don't know, it's a Class 3 nebula. Who knows what we might find in there that's... Well, okay, I know what I'll find in a Class 3 nebula, but this one has been giving off some, small readings. I hope to find something useful.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll find you the results.
Excellent. Glad to know I could count on you. And Feazal walks off. Nova gets the empathic sense that Feazal's very, very pleased with herself.
Lieutenant Nova, I've had a request for some computer time this afternoon. Could you sort them out?
Sounds like you've had that request.
First officer, the job is delegate, right?
Who needs what?
Curse needs some additional time on the main computer this afternoon, if possible.
Nice.
I'll let you organise the allocations, and I'll leave it in your capable hands.
Bridge to engineering. Is it time to do a level 5 diagnostic on the computer?
Chief Bravo reporting, Captain. If you want me to run a level 5 diagnostic on the main computer, I can do so.
We're doing well at this, not talking to you.
I mean, we ran a level 3 diagnostic as per protocol about 5 days ago, but if you want me to be a bit more thorough about it this time.
Nah, it's fine.
If you're sure, Captain, I'm alright to do it. It's just the science guys are going to be... Oh. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't do it, Captain. I know that my our wife wants to have some allocated time.
Ooh, the temptation to have marital strife on my ship.
I mean, that's just conflict of interest and impartiality right there.
Yeah.
We're standing for that sort of thing.
Insubordination.
I'll let him off.
It's up to you, sir. I mean, I can if you really want to, but Fizal
like-
was really hoping that she could scan the local nebula.
Yeah, you can scan that. Yeah, we'll delay on that.
Thank you, sir. All right. What else can happen? Well, the captain gets a notification from Admiral Hebert. So, let me just get my voice changer on. There we go. Hebert to Navis.
Mr. Well, I can't remember. I can call him Tufty. And Lieutenant Keshen, open communications. Oh, is it just coming through as a personal message to my terminal?
It's coming through as a message to the captain's ready room, yes.
Okay, that's fine. I will take the call.
Sophia, how goes it?
As well as can be expected, Admiral.
Good to hear. How are you coping with the gap in your crew now?
We are managing, Admiral. Lieutenant Minot has stepped into the role very well, and the science team are banding together to support effectively.
Good to hear. Good to hear. I actually had a message, as it turns out, from Shore recently. She, in a very typical fashion to Shore, she apologized greatly for having to, in her words, leave me and abandon me to all of the bureaucracy. But she gave me an update to pass on to you. She and Caval have actually found 2 more people to make their mated family. So it looks like there's going to be kids on Andoria.
I'm pleased to hear that, Admiral. Thank you for letting me know. I will distribute that information to the rest of the senior crew.
Well, I'm afraid I have slightly less happy news. Seems that someone further up the Admiralty totem pole than myself has specifically requested the Navis go on a mission. Suggests that either somebody in the higher ranks is either very pleased with us or... Well, I'll let you be the judge. We've had... Go on.
Are you at liberty to discuss which Admiral has given the request?
It hasn't been sent. I haven't been sent the proper authorization to find out, I'm afraid.
Why does it have to be? Why did flipping Admiralty boards playing secrets?
I know, right? It's not like we're in this war together or anything, but here we go. What do I know? I'm just an admiral. In any case, the situation we're apparently I'll have to brief you on is thus. The, if I can just find this, the Prime Leader of Keseris, which is a Federation member planet, has been assassinated. Apparently, the Prime Leader was shot and killed. The perpetrator has yet to be discovered. This is happening in an already rather volatile political situation down on Keseris. It seems that an anti-Federation movement has been gaining traction recently. Admiralty is not entirely sure if the 2 things are related or not, but nevertheless, we've been requested to send somebody, the Navis, to investigate the assassination and to discover who it was that was responsible. If we can, apprehend them.
It seems a little overkill sending the Navis, Admiral, but orders are
agree.
orders.
Apparently, you are to meet with the head of the planetary guard, a man by the name of Locus. He will be assisting you, and you have been requested to work alongside the planetary guard security force as closely as possible. He will give you all the information that we have and access to all the facilities we need to assist in this investigation. I presume I don't need to tell you how important not losing another Federation member world is, Captain.
Completely understand, Admiral. We will do our best to ensure that the mission is carried out to the best of our abilities.
I have no doubt. Just be aware, apparently there are eyes watching. Do your best, that's all we can ask of you. In the meantime, take care of yourselves. Keep it out.
I think it's time for a senior crew briefing then.
Alrighty, that's a good point. Spidoop, spidoop. Where did I put the situation room? Spidoop. Now, a moment, because I may have to remove a certain officer from the room.
I can almost hear him
We
now.
still have a Tannenbaum in there.
Tannenbaum's still on the... Why won't she leave? I was elected to lead.
So let's put Mono in there instead. Alright then, situation room. Alright, senior crew have been gathered. And Edwards.
Well, he's the engineering second now, so...
Potentially. That's a good point. Do we want to bring Stevens in? Because she's a potential engineering second as well.
Mm.
Yeah, why not?
If not, it'd be seen as bias.
Yeah, we need to make
bitch,
a decision at some point.
What's it? It's current subplot. You don't want to hurry it.
Alright then. So...
Write down the name Nova in promotion.
Commander Nova.
Strangely enough, Nova always finds a way to not be there during the award ceremony for her new pip.
Well, there's always the reprimand pile at the same height.
Also, it's like you put in for promotion for engineering second. I go to security Bravo with your hidey holes of a contraband all over the ship.
Sounds like blackmail, and
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not for promotion. It's just simply for putting someone in the race. Someone doing the race that isn't actually running it. It's not blackmail. It's revenge.
Call it what you like. We don't stand for it on the show.
They'd never stand for this kind of treatment on the Lexington.
So who needs a transfer to the Lexington?
Everyone.
Alright then. Briefing of the senior bridge crew. So, what would you like to discuss?
Just bring everyone up to speed, and then to advise on what we think is going to be best for the situation.
Okay, so in that case, you're going to need some knowledge of Keseris. Therefore, I mean, it's up to you guys. You just want knowledge, or do you want to roll for it just to build up some momentum for the group?
I would say you'd always test Edward's knowledge to build up the pool as cultural studies.
Good point.
Being in the
Good point. Cultural studies would be a good one.
might already have it in his knowledge of aliens.
So, yep. How many quantum torpedoes to solve it from orbit? Very, very quick. Very quick.
I'm sorry, but I can't give you authorization to fire that many quantum torpedoes onto an inhabited planet that we're not at war with.
Yet.
I do what I want. Mr. Clark, fire.
Right.
Oh, press the button on the table. Bam!
That concludes our episode. Strangely enough, there are reprimands incoming.
Who's in that game
Nah.
Poker to Vibers last week really did a number on the Captain's sanity.
GG, guys. GG. See you next week.
We've eliminated the suspect.
No, court martial. Right.
They'll have to catch us. Sort of
Engage the spore drive. We're out of here, boy.
It's going rogue.
Just
I'm
turn on
sorry,
next Voyager.
the
Just turn on
spore
next
drive full
Voyager.
of moss.
Turn
Well,
on
with
next
your
Voyager and just be like, here you are, Catherine. Shame.
It's alright, we're going home.
Yeah, we're bye.
Oh, harsh. Hi, bye.
Just checking in. I was like, "Are you still terrorizing things away from us?" Good. Bye.
So I guess you don't have a spore drive yet, huh? Huh? Guess who does? Bye.
We found a way to keep our fuse together, better crew member, as well as getting our other two back.
And we don't have an helix.
I wasn't gonna take
about
a look
that?
at it.
About that. You transferring
I
the
know
first
you-
Talaxian on board.
I was going to say, is like, go search through the contraband and just find helix. Is like, good thing this is already hidden in a torpedo tube.
Oh no, the civilian person who gets made part of the crew and becomes an important part of the command crew.
Yeah, Admiral Minoko, get him in here. He's not. Why is he not in the table?
He chooses not to be here. He's too busy trying to make sure that he's been charged with keeping an eye on Lechude, so he's busy.
Ooh. We'll need more alcohol imported.
Well, since it was alcohol that may have been part of the whole deal with Cruz and the other crew member.
This ship might have to go full Simfahol.
You think, Commander?
I'll work it out.
We don't have space for any AA meetings, but I can fit some more people in for Moss lectures if you think that helps sobriety.
Green alert! Green alert! I need to find an alarm sound for green alert now.
It does mean changing the bulb.
But the red alert bulb already goes through all the colours of the spectrum, so...
I know, but it has to stay on green.
Anyway. So, yes. Edwards can feel free to give me a control and science check with a focus on cultural history to find out about Keseris. Couples. 2 successes. Nice. But you know what? I'm going to do something here that I don't tend to do, but I'm going to do it anyway. It occurs to me that we are trying to generate a planet here. And the Captain's Log book has a way of generating, randomly, things like this. So I am just going to go and see if I can use that. So what have we got? Where is the... Deep space exploration, Captain's Log, Laying Logs, planetary exploration. Generating our own planet. Doop. Inhabited planet. Because we want to see what it is they bring to this table. Additional matrices. Downtime. Does anybody want to randomly generate what somebody's been up to? Tell you what. Sean, roll me a d20. Two.
That's as many torpedoes as was requested.
Apparently, you've been playing Baroque. Whatever Baroque is. There we are. Ah, I thought I could find the, resource. That was it. Random resource. What is it that Keseris is known for? This is me pulling back the veil a little bit here, but what the hell? I'm going to go with... Ooh, tellurium. Right then, let's make a note of that. Keseris is known for its tellurium deposits, and is a Federation member world. Hasn't been for terribly long. They do have a... Excuse me, bubbles. They do have a history of being not exactly xenophobic, but when they were first made contact with, they were very wary of outsiders, and it took the Federation diplomats a while to convince them to make regular contact with the Federation, and it took even longer to persuade them to be part of the Federation. But they did concede eventually. But according to records, there's always been an underlying nationalist type movement boiling under the surface. Hasn't gathered enough numbers to ever be much of a political problem. So the ruling party of Keseris has been pro-Federation for a while. But with the information that Edwards was just able to bring up, this nationalist movement that has been present on Keseris for most of their history has seen gains recently. Just checking. So, yeah. That's pretty much all you discover about Keseris at this point in time. The Keserians are humanoids, look very much like humans. And they're... What do they call it? The Prime Leader is the head of state. The Planetary Guard, that was it, are the security services for the planet. They take over most of the police action. So, is there anything else you would like to know about Keseris, or are you all good with that information? Okay, so as soon as, unless there's anything else you want to discuss amongst yourselves here in the situation room, then as soon as you... Go on, sorry.
Do we have any... Apart from, we know there's been a shooting, have we had any actual reports from Keseris themselves?
Nothing at the moment, no. But word has been sent to you to meet up with the head of the Planetary Guard. His name is Locas, and you have been sent coordinates for a landing pad that attaches to the main building of the Planetary Guard, which also links onto the there's a word for it and I can't remember it, which happens a lot with me, unfortunately. The what do you call it? The building where matters of state are
Parliament.
Discussed. Parliament, thank you. Jeez, that took me a while.
Parliament, Senate,
Only with help.
Congress.
Council, Congress.
Let's go with a Parliament. That sounds easy to deal with. So their main parliamentary building is adjacent to the command compound of the Planetary Guard, which makes a certain degree of sense because then the head of the head of the Prime Leader of Keseris, is within easy reach of the security forces. So you have coordinates. You have coordinates of where you can shuttle or transport down to meet with the head of the Planetary Guard. And suppose the question I need to ask now then is, who is going on this investigation away mission?
Heads or tails, Captain?
I mean, the captain is the unwitting diplomat. Unwilling, sorry, even.
I did the last one though, didn't I?
It's entirely possible. Flip a coin.
Rock, paper, scissors. Rochambeau.
I'll get my dress uniform, sir.
Yeah, you will.
So this is basically a criminal investigation type situation.
May I suggest the doctor, because you need to go through their medical records of the autopsy.
And in case,
So I will take us to the bridge then, so we can start allocating who's on this away mission.
I think you should take Lieutenant Natik.
I'm not taking somebody 2 days from parental leave. That's almost like saying the 2 days from retirement.
No one's told me that Natik was taking parental leave.
Huh?
Am I
I
supposed
did.
to know?
Totally.
You got a briefing.
Yeah, you said maternal.
I said
Yeah, that means-
maternity leave's coming up, and by the way, we might have a biohazard in main cargo.
Yeah.
Nice try,
I was
Cap.
listening to what you said.
You were testing everybody, weren't you? Seeing if they would actually listen. Very clever.
It wasn't about clothes, so Andrews wasn't interested.
Good point. Good point.
It's fine. I'm assuming Claude's going to be taking over main security second. So I think we need to take Bravo down.
It's not security.
What was that, sorry?
Tactical.
Yeah, it's tactical.
That's it, tactical, sorry.
So same department, technically, but different aspects. So Claude's, as you can see from his focuses and his talents, he's very specific to starship weapons, but he does have a good leeway with actual security as well, whereas Chief Bravo of Security is all about being just the security department. So
Right.
you're not wrong,
Cool.
but you're also not right. So kind of a zen state.
Team, I think we need. Doctor, are you coming, or are you sending a nurse?
I'll come along.
Edwards, you're our culture expert.
Okay.
Okay.
I notice what
I
you've
could
done
do
here.
with a
Move Lenny
dirty-
to helm.
I could do with a dirty tricks department. So,
Dirty tricks department.
is Nova interested in a trip?
Sure, why not?
Was that a go on or a don't
Yeah.
wanna?
That should go.
Okay, and
So here's the question: who's filling ops while she's away?
Helen.
Righty-ho.
so you're not making Lenny fill ups. Carries on sitting in helm.
No, we've taken over Helm as well. He just doesn't realise his console doesn't do anything anymore.
Do we need anyone else, or is that enough?
You got
Well-
one security in yourself.
There's another
I'd probably
question
suggest-
about the other the attempt at giving the two prospective engineering seconds a test. Is Stevens
Yeah,
coming
but-
along?
I don't want to put them both on the same mission, because
Yeah.
if I put them both on the same mission and one of them dies, I've got to
You got to promote the
sort
other.
out more paperwork. And it's like, if they
Gotcha.
both die on the mission, then suddenly I've got to find a third.
Remember,
May I,
if you
may I
die
suggest
in a mission,
Oh,
you
okay.
die in real life.
Yeah,
xenoanthropology? She has
Hmm.
She has some uses that may be beneficial.
We're not looking at archaeological
And
pigs
she
at the moment.
can use a phaser, so Might not be a bad plan.
Alright, so
that's our
as
thing.
far as crew support goes, you are activating Turin. You are
She's not been out for a while. It's
No,
nice
she
to
hasn't.
have her out.
Chief of Security Bravo. So you've got 4 crew support members you can access. Are we seriously bringing Minoko along?
Always.
I wasn't always a bartender. Where was he gone?
No, he's been summoned back to the bar.
He's
Exactly,
retaking
got
his
an
bar
important
exam?
thing.
I'll get my coat.
Well, he's got. Actually, we've got an interesting challenge here. I'm assuming someone else on the ship other than Lacude knows how to use a transporter.
So, you are getting the new mission directive of find out who assassinated the Keserian. Yeah, that's the right word. Keserian Prime Leader. So, remember, just like you can use your values to justify a use of determination, you can also use your mission objectives as a way of spending determination too. So the mission objectives currently are, of course, obey the Prime Directive and find out who assassinated the Keserian Prime Leader. I will actually give you a sub-objective. Less important than the top one, but try and keep Keseris in the Federation.
Oh dear.
It's a sub-directive, so it's not as important as the primary, but it can be used if you can find a way to use it.
It's only a try. We don't have to succeed that one. Good.
Right, so we're activating Turin and Chief of Security Bravo. As a supporting character, Chief of Security Bravo cannot be improved any more than he already is. Turin, however, can still be improved. So, you have the option of trying to improve on her now that she is being used in this episode, or we can just leave her as is and she will improve in a fashion either you or I determine at the end of this episode when I give out acclaim and milestones. So just a quick look at her character sheet. She has increased 1 attribute and increased 1 discipline, so neither of those sides of things can be improved any more than they already are. She has had a talent added, scientific method, but she has got 4 talents, so I don't think she can get any more than that. She can be given more values, and she can be given 2 more focuses before she becomes unable to be improved anymore. So, if you can think of a focus or a value that you might want to give her, now would be a good time, or we can just leave it.
Maybe leave it so keep the flow going. Unless anyone else has an idea now.
Yeah, unless anybody else has got an idea.
This is for Turin.
Turin, yes.
Yeah, I think I've seen things beyond logic. It's the only thing I can think of her at the moment.
All right
It's
then.
already got, so.
Excellent. All right then. So you are free to either transport down or to use a shuttle. Which would you prefer?
They asked us to use a landing pad, I think. It was landing coordinates, right?
Correct. So you would rather use a shuttle. Okie dokie.
Yep.
All right then.
We are using the Samson.
You're landing your attack craft, which can only take 2 people.
You joke about that, but I was wondering, do we want to take the runabout or do we want to take a shuttle and a Samson?
I'd take the runabout, to be honest.
Yeah. I've maybe I've got a transporter so we can just go. Yeah, I'm going home.
Give me a moment then to find a runabout. Oh, I had a better one than that. Oh, I know what I can do.
I'm assuming we've got the usual Nova and Edwards at the helm and everyone else that gripping the sides of their seats, hoping we get to the ground safely.
Maybe. Maybe.
I never said which one was driving.
Nova.
Pilot.
That's why Nova's driving.
Right, a runabout is quite a big ship.
It's
So
the
let
only
me-
runabout with steering wheel.
There we go. Alright. It's a bit askew. Let me line that up a bit better. Alright then, so you take the Carpathia, and you are given a clear landing run to land the Carpathia on the allocated landing pad. So the skies are cleared for your approach. Space traffic control gives you permission to come down, and you do so. So just as the backwash of landing thrusters are blasting everything with air, you see out the viewing window that there are 3 individuals who are clad in tactical gear, you'd probably call it, who are waiting for you on the pad as you land. So, when you do disembark, you have Planetary Guard Head Locus waiting for you and 2 regular Planetary Guard. You'd be the Navis crew, I take it. Planetary Guard Head Locus, at your service.
Commander Vibers, the Navis, we've been requested.
You have.
Nice to meet you.
And you, sir. Shame it under these circumstances.
So let's walk and talk. What's your current situation? Just so I'm up to date by the time we get to whoever's handling the current situation.
First things first on the agenda is that our Prime Leader was assassinated. We can tell that for definite. Wound was made. The killing wound was made by some kind of high-energy laser weapon. Keseris security forces do have access to such weapons. These weapons are licensed and monitored here on Keseris. All we've been able to determine so far, since we've been waiting on Starfleet to assist us with an investigation, which was the wish and in the protocols established by former Prime Leader Taxol. Any...
To assist with that, I've got Dr. Bertram, our medical expert. We have Commander Bravo, our security expert, who'll be liaising with you as much as possible on that side of things. We have our investigation team of Lieutenant Edwards, Lieutenant Nova, and Lieutenant Turin, who are there to find as much information as possible to help us get to the bottom of this as quick as possible so your planet can get back to normal.
Normal's a thing we haven't seen around here for a good long time, but best we talk about that inside. The press are gathering, and the moment they saw your craft come down, they're probably going to start mobilizing in this general area, and they have very long microphones, you might say. Any further discussion about the investigation will probably be best done indoors.
Lead on.
If you'll accompany me, please. Thank you very much. So he leads you down the stairs inside. Naturally, he goes first, and his guards remain to flank you as you come in to the main government offices. So, I'm just going to get you some room here, because it's not a heck of a lot of room. Small offices. Okay. So you go down a flight of steps into a couple of corridors. You are led around a still very functioning governmental facility. So there are bureaucrats, data clerks, that kind of thing, moving around constantly. There seems to be a bit more haste to their step now, and the betazoids are definitely picking up high levels of anxiety going on, which is further enhanced by the fact that they see you guys. Most of the anxiety, though, seems to be coming from, well, the fact that there's been an assassination, and these people are not sure what went on, so they're all fearful, at least as far as Bravo is concerned, since he's a telepath and he's getting more definitive images from these people. They're all afraid of what comes next. And so, Guardhead Locus invites you into a very busy set of offices. This is the Prime Leader's staff offices. This is where the majority of our government's goings-on happens. The office, and he points to that open door over there. The Prime Leader's office is over there. That's where he was assassinated. This, he points to this gentleman here, is my second-in-command, Sotin. Sotin just gives you all a curt nod. So, where would you like to start?
Bertram says, would you mind if I took an examination of the scene of the actual assassination?
Of course. There's not much to actually discover, but you're certainly welcome to do an analysis. We did our own analysis. Sotin? So Locus indicates to his second, who from his fatigues pulls out a datapad and hands it to Dr. Bertram.
Okay,
Sotin,
Bertram will look over it.
yeah, Sotin takes over this part of the briefing. There was a single shot from a high-energy laser weapon. Struck the Prime Leader directly in the forehead, killed him instantly. Rest of the body was untouched. Single precise shot. That's all we were able to determine.
Yep. Do you know where the laser shot was fired from?
Apparently, someone, according to eyewitness statements from those who were working that day, some of whom are here now, we've asked them to be here and ready and available for you, any interviews you wish to conduct. Somebody that possessed the credentials and uniform of a member of the Planetary Guard gained entry to the Prime Leader's office. A shot was heard, and everybody pretty much ducked for cover. The individual in question was not seen clearly and exited the building. We have yet to actually apprehend anybody.
Okay.
Any further questions?
Dr. Bertram will examine the death scene examination, then he'll go through the. So I believe the standard procedure is to make a secondary examination, just so I can confirm. Yeah, can confirm everything that the Planetary Guard's examination said was correct.
In that case, says Guardhead Lucas, you'll probably want access to the morgue. we've had to keep the morgue under close guard because of the press.
Understand.
So we've put the Prime Leader on ice on a secure facility a few floors down from here. If you wish, I can have a guard escort you.
Thank you very much for that.
Abrak. Locus nods to one of the security guards who will escort Bertram if he wants to go have a look.
Yep.
Okay.
Everything about going back
Anyone
to,
volunteering to go with the doctor?
not to the morgue, but wouldn't mind revisiting the murder scene.
Okay.
Right. Trin, can you go with the doctor?
As you wish, Doctor. That is a good point, actually. Webby,
Webby,
seeing as you
who are
don't
you
have
driving?
a character, yes, who are you driving?
I'll drive to Rin.
Okay. But if things go down, you can switch to Bravo just as easily.
Mm-hmm.
Cool beans. All right. So Turin is going to accompany Dr. Bertram down to examine the body of the Prime Leader. Meanwhile, Edwards wants to get a look at the crime scene itself.
That's it. Because sorry, my mind might have skipped a beat. Was it confirmed of the point of where the shooter was, basically, where the shot was made from? Or did he not say that?
Sotin speaks up at this question. If you want a more concise recollection of the events, you're going to have to speak to the Chief of Staff.
Certainly, but if we ascertain where the shot was taken from, if you haven't already, then
From the doorway, apparently.
Apparent. Yeah.
That's what eyewitnesses are saying. Could we examine the security arrangements for the event and see if anybody clocked in twice or clocked in unexpectedly? See if we can track it back to whose uniform or something was taken.
Ah, interesting. Okay. Doop 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 doo. Can I get, in that case, an investigative control and security? Let's have one of your focuses, inner workings more than likely, coming into effect there. I will make this difficulty 1. There we go. You got 2. So, Nova is accessing the logs of that day, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So, the logs of that day display a lot of data. It shows who was on what duty, who was clocked in. So you've got a list of security personnel who are meant to shadow the Prime Leader at all times, very much like any head of state. And they go through regular postings of who's actually allocated to be personal guard to the Prime Leader, whereas others are posted at points throughout the building. There's also lists of the individual staff members, the regular clerical assistants who help run the government, who on that day. You're looking specifically for guard-related information. As soon as Nova starts accessing that data, Head of Security Locus will come up to Nova at that point, and say, and he's giving off waves of slight embarrassment. Something that we discovered whilst we were investigating the initial findings of the event. Someone somehow gained access to our armory. And apparently erased all the security data afterwards of their break-in. Not only that, but We, as you can see in this data screed here, did an inventory of the weapons available in the armory, and some of them are missing.
How many?
Just let me have a look-see. I want to say 8, but I might get the number wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're talking about 8 people.
Okay. And has anybody not reported in for duty since the incident?
Not that we've been able to determine. If you'll look at this list here, and he indicates another screed of names, this is the system which logs everybody's entrance, everybody's clocking out, and furthermore, if we access each individual, if I can click my name here, and he does, you'll see that it also indicates which security points I passed through at which times. As far as our records can tell, which is what you're looking at right now, we're not actually missing any personnel. Everyone who was supposed to clocked in that day. Which is odd, because according to eyewitnesses, we either have somebody who's still here who killed the Prime Leader, or somebody's impersonating somebody. One of my guard.
Sorry.
Alex, go first. You started your train of thought.
I think we're probably reaching for the same thing. Everyone that clocked in that didn't clock out.
Sean?
I was going to look for anybody that couldn't be in the places that they're saying, the time that it's saying. So, like duplicated logs or
okay.
somebody using a fake ID to be somebody else.
Interesting. What was your question again, Alex?
You said that everyone was that's clocked in that was meant to be, but as a double check, did everyone clock out?
Did everyone clock out? Cursory examination of the logs does seem to indicate that everything looks normal. Nobody checked in that didn't check out.
Okay.
But
Any Dominion activity in your sector?
That's an interesting question. Let me get to that first. Chief Locus is actually dealing with Nova at this point, so let's have Sotin field this question. Dominion activity? No, not really. We're not exactly far from the front lines here, but close enough to make people nervous, I suppose. Which is one of the main reasons that the Free Keseris movement have been shouting as loud as they have. Them and the other ultranationalists.
Have there been any particular members of this faction that are under particular observation from yourselves?
Oh man, it's funny you should say that. Let's just say...
I failed to see the humour in my question.
That's a good point. Turin is downstairs. But I'll field the question as if she was there.
Sorry, I didn't realize. Sorry, I thought they'd all moved together.
No, that's fine. The autopsy on the Prime Leader doesn't reveal much at all, other than what the initial autopsy of the... And I will get back to Nova, I swear. Just if I do divert too much on a tangent, then do poke me, otherwise I'll forget. But I will get back to Nova, don't worry. Winding back. The autopsy doesn't reveal anything other than what was suggested. It does... Cause of death is pretty obvious. Guy was shot in the head. The Kesarians use an older variant of phaser weapons, so they don't have the same energy output and the same energy pattern, I suppose you would call it, that a phaser does. It's a similar type of directed energy weapon, nonetheless.
Yeah.
So you can find traces which corroborate the story. Anywho, the question was asked then, unless you had a follow-up question, Gareth?
Nope, that makes sense.
You sound a bit muffled.
You sound a bit odd.
There's a lot of movement on your end, so... Are you okay there, Gareth? Nope, we lost him. Oh, there we are.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
How's that sounded?
That's better.
Okay, I turned off my headset and back on, so maybe something glitched in it.
Fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. Cool, cool. Much better now. Was there a follow-up question?
Oh no, I think you said it just to confirm is there any sort of like energy traces left that would confirm it as a Kesari type standard energy weapon that the guards use, like
Yes.
second guard said?
Yes.
Cool, I'll make a note of that.
Which allows Bertram and Turin to be escorted back up to the main offices, which means Turin can ask her question about people of this party. Okay. Fail to see the... your last comment was, I failed to see the humour in the situation. Guard second Sotin nods in a knowing fashion to that comment. Yeah, you're not wrong. Let's just say politics is something of a sticky situation here on Keseris at the moment. You see, with our Prime Leader dead, we now find ourselves without a democratically elected leader. The Prime Leader was recently in his office a lot because his approval numbers weren't looking good. If you want more information on that, I would suggest you talk to his Chief of Staff, Miss Nikat. But his primary political opponent is Clatisi Jadaro, who has been basing her political stance very much on one of separation from the Federation. Definitely playing at the hardliner nationalist. It's rumored that she may have some kind of affiliation with the Free Keseris movement, but it's never been confirmed. So, unless there's a further question to that, then I will move us on to Nova's investigation. You were looking into people who should be there but weren't, or anything that looks out of the ordinary, if I recall. Something which should be there but isn't, or could be masking something else. So I'm going to ask for a difficulty 3. Yeah, I'm going to make this a control and security one again. Have a good old look, but you'll use infiltration as a focus this time. As difficulty 3, you feel free to bring in anybody you want for assistance, if you want. Or do we want to make this a solo deal?
I suppose there's still Bravo's not doing anything, is he?
Vibers and Bravo would be your supports for control and security.
Yep, probably.
So who do you wish, Vibers or Bravo?
I think should work with Bravo.
Okay.
Let Vibers be the diplomat.
Fellow Betazoid assisting with security. Okie dokie. In which case, Webby, could you be Bravo of security for me, please?
Yeah, control and security.
Yes, please.
Any foci?
Let's see. Security protocol would probably be the one that makes the most sense to me. Unless, of course... actually, no. No, I'll go with what I just said.
Does he want to buy an extra dice?
Does Nova want to buy an extra dice then, in that case?
Yeah, I'll take it.
One success so far. We've got 2 remaining to get. Hey, 2 successes. Rolled 3 dice and still only got 2 successes. Okay. Doop 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 doo. Alright. Let's have a look. You find a very thorough, up-to-date system. But there is a discrepancy. There is a single file installed in a side of the system which is to do with auditing of log entries. As far as Nova can determine, there is an executable file in there that doesn't appear to have any actual focus or use to the current system. Certainly it's an executable that's there, but is not being used. What would you like to do with this information? If anything.
Could we run it in a proxy server and see what it's trying to do if it is activated?
Ooh, okay, let's think. Would anybody want to duck in on this, or do we want to give it give it to Nova again?
Happy for Nova to take it if she wants it.
Pardon me. Okay, I am going to keep it on control and security still. Still on an infiltration focus. We'll see how well we do.
The music's got intense. What have you done, Sean?
1 success. Yeah, you're having trouble with this executable file. It's
Can Bravo assist on that if he's still around?
Bravo is still around, and he can assist if he really wanted to get involved in it. Then sure, as long as Sean's okay with that.
Yeah, why not?
I'm involved.
2 successes.
I am the senior ranking officer, Lieutenant. So I'm going to press the start button. You in?
It's fine, you just get the blame.
All right,
It's
so
how it works.
the 2 of them working together can confirm that this executable file lodged in the side of the computer system that deals with just keeping logs of things does seem very out of place, but actually getting into the code of the executable at all is proving very difficult. Which is odd, because any computer processes that go on inside of the logging and auditing system should just be there to keep a track of things. Error logs, access logs, that kind of thing. This is just a reporting system. It's a low security, low level system. So why is there an encrypted executable file in there? As far as trying to run it in a controlled environment, which is what you were just trying to do, trying to execute the file apparently requires some kind of access code. It refuses to run without some kind of authorization. Which again, is odd. Why is such a high security executable in such a mundane part of the processing? anything you'd like to follow up with that, or do you want to try investigating something else? No ideas. Okay. Let's go with... You have identified this at least as the one thing that appears weird. One thing that you do get from it, though, is that there is a date stamp. Like you get date stamps on executables when they are first... on any computer file when it's first appears in a file structure, you also get a date stamp when the thing was updated. The date stamp for when this executable apparently appears, or at the very least was run for the first time, is 5 days before the assassination day.
Is there? You said there's a date, but do you say is it timestamp as well? Is it?
Yes.
Then you better cross-reference that with any internal sensors and just see who is potentially or in the area where it needs to be installed.
Interesting. You can try and investigate that if you would like to try and get some more momentum in the bank.
Certainly, give it a go.
Control and security for you as well, please.
Diff.
You're just looking through sensors to see who was there, so I can't really see any of your foci that apply, so it's just going to be talent alone. Which on a 15 and under is still pretty good, so you get 1 success. Okay, cool. Spadoop, spadoop, spadoop. You spend some time, because this is something that will take a good degree of time to do, spinning through sensor logs. And according to the logs, which can be corroborated by Nova's console, which has the records of who came in that day and who logged in at which stations and what else, nothing really suggests itself. But one member of what do they call themselves again? One member of the Planetary Guard did arrive 10 minutes late that day when he logged in for the first time. What would you like to do with this information?
Just pass it to Nova, so I know that someone was late at this point in time, but we can't annoyingly place them into the set at the terminal at the time of installation.
Quite. Alright, let's see. What else can we give you? Well, you've got the executable now. You've managed to get hold of it. You so far haven't been able to break into it. Do you want to try?
Can I suggest we send it up to Unit Hello to sit and have a play with? Because their technology is separate to a lot of things, so might not be infected by it.
What do other people think?
Makes sense. Quarantine the drives, have it, set it up in that, and just run it and crack it.
So, activating Unit Hello. So, for ease, I'm just going to bring Unit Hello's character here, rather than dip you back and forth to the ship. So, activating Unit Hello. Letting Unit Hello have a crack at it, which suggests we can also let the ship have a crack at it too to support that action.
Mm-hmm.
So, hasn't done much yet. Gareth, could I ask you to be the Navis, as per usual?
The Navis, yep.
The Navis is going to be using computers and security, and you will treat this as if it has got a focus. Sean, if you would like to use Unit Hello. Control and security from Unit Hello, probably using his quantum computing to break into this.
The Navis knows not.
Okay. And Unit Hello isn't having much luck either.
Doesn't virus have something to do with giving a bonus or a reroll to the computer? Ship's computer while we use it.
Well, there's a captain on the deck, isn't there? Who can give rerolls. His powers are a bit better than mine.
Mine's suspended determination to do it, though, isn't it?
Let's have a look-see, Lou, if I can actually get my mouse wheel to scroll the right way.
For a badge, because not directly
I
involved in it.
wasn't in the task, so
Ah.
if I was, we could have re-rolled something, but I wasn't
No,
there.
that's fair.
Oh, yeah, my commanding officer talents disappeared.
Yes, that's because that was from Second Ed.
Oh.
Second edition introduced the whole roll advantages. I mean, if you want, we can bring them back. Is it something you would like to see come back, the whole roll advantages thing?
We could just try again later.
I will allow you to succeed at cost.
Yeah, let's put a virus on
Okay.
the Navis. Let's not! No!
Commander's decision.
No, he can
Captain's
send it to the
decision.
Navis. The
It's
captain's
got-
saying, no, you're not putting a virus through the system.
It's
We
already
will-
been sent up to the Navis' science labs.
Yes, we will take our time going through it.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Taking
So,
some time. While they're investigating...
Meanwhile, on the ground,
Yes.
So, Mr. Sotim,
Yes, sir.
how long has this nativist group you were talking about been a major problem? How long have they been resurgent for?
Let me think. We've always had something of a nationalistic problem. Comes back to the times when my people were very wary about any outsiders. Just typical small-mindedness, I suppose. You get that a good many places, so I understand. But as far as the Free Keseris movement are concerned, Planetary Guard have had our eye on those people for, I would say, at least a good year. Commander Locus will tell you if you ask him. We keep a watch on all extremist groups we believe could be a threat. Their rhetoric has certainly been strong, but nothing that we could consider an actual threat, at least not yet. If they are involved in this assassination, that means they're stepping up their game to quite an extreme level.
Have they claimed credit as yet?
Nobody has claimed credit yet, which is either a good or bad thing, I'm not exactly sure. A group like the Free Keseris movement, they're very loud. You would imagine that if this was them, that they would be equally loud about it, but so far, nothing. That being said, as much as we've kept a watch on them, they're a small group. As I said, mostly politically vocal. We do tend to try and keep track of people like this. I could, if you want, see if we have any recent intel on any of these people.
Anything you can get could be useful. At the moment, we're going to collect every single lead we can, and, well, you know how an investigation goes. Get every bit of information you can, and whittle it down to the truth.
I'll go fetch the data myself, see if I can find any recent information on group movements.
If you could also get when that information was last accessed, that could be useful as well.
Accessed? Okay. Give me 20-30 minutes. I'll get as complete a report as I can.
While he's wandered off, I think it's a really good time to go talk to the Chief of Staff.
Alrighty. So, yeah.
Who wants to lead this conversation?
If no one else is willing to, I'm happy to take the lead, Commander.
Carry on, Lieutenant.
So, you are introduced to Garen Nikat, the Chief of Staff. A lady who looks like she's continuously under stress, and yet seems to be one of those people who thrives on it. She is continuously busy, and so during the entire conversation you have with her from beginning to end, every now and then a staff member comes up to her, points to some piece of information that they have got on their own data pad, to which she takes a quick moment to quickly read over something, taps it with a stylus, and gives somebody a nod. So she's, as well as having conversations with yourselves, she's also still managing everything else that's going on in the area. So bear that in mind. Okay, yes, I'd like to assist this investigation as much as I possibly can, but of course I also have an entire staff to run and a government to keep from falling over in the meantime, so if we could make this as succinct as we possibly can. I want to make sure that you find these people, obviously, but I need to keep the gears of administration rolling.
May I inquire as to why the Chief of Staff is also the acting Prime Minister, then, as an initial question?
At the moment, we don't have. The Parliament has been called into emergency session. Who needs to? They need to vote on who is going to be the next Prime Leader. It's not a simple case of throw the second in command of our party. We have lost the Prime Leader, and therefore the new one needs to be crowned. So I'm busy trying to micromanage the wheels of bureaucracy to help us proceed in that direction as fast as possible, so that we actually have a leader of government.
As the Chief of Staff for the Prime Leader, did he have... Oh, is it a he, isn't it?
It yes,
Confirmed?
yes.
Yeah. Did he have any political rivals, or any rivals behind the scenes that were less well known to the general public?
The only ones I can actually consider to be any kind of political rivals whatsoever are, of course, Clatisi Jardaro. She's been petitioning very strongly to be taking over the role of Prime Leader, and she has managed to garner a lot of support, much to my chagrin. But there we go. That's democracy for you. You go with what the people seem to clamour for the loudest, and certainly Jadaro and her people have been clamouring pretty loud.
As the old Earth quote goes, the worst system anyone has ever come up with, apart from everything else.
Well, you don't have to tell me twice. So, is there anything I can help you with specifically?
The recent decline in your party's polls may I inquire as to the reasoning behind that?
Well, the prime reason for that is pretty simple, and I imagine you guys have had direct experience of it. The Dominion War. Ever since the Dominion War sparked off and the numbers started coming in of the casualties that have been inflicted on the Federation, our polling numbers have been going straight down. And strangely enough, the opposing party, led by Jadaro, has been going up.
Have you had any contacts with the Dominion? or anything that's affected your planet directly?
Not that I'm aware of, no. No official contact has been made in any case between the government and the Dominion, and as far as I'm concerned, the longer that goes on, the better we are.
And apart from the additional request from Starfleet, what other impact has this war had upon your world?
Other than an increased demand for our tellurium, the war hasn't actually been all that bad for the economy, so to speak.
Right.
Any credible death threats?
Credibles. I don't know about that. That kind of thing I mostly hand over to our chief, head Locus. It's his department to deal with that kind of thing. But, of course, I do have to be made aware of such things. Nothing I can immediately put down to a credible threat, no. There are an awful lot of message boards that we have to monitor, that the security forces at least claim to have to monitor, in order to try and see if there are any credible threats, but it's... From what I gather, it's a bit difficult to try and separate the credible threats from the just plain crackpot.
And anything else unusual happened in the last week?
The last
Or
week?
two?
Well, let me think. Besides another very definite dip in our polling numbers, then of course was the assassination attempt. And I say attempt, it actually succeeded, so... with being so busy is that I'm having to micromanage everything, and unfortunately my back is to the door of the Prime Leader. So all I caught was the sound of the weapon discharge. Like most people, I'm not actually all that well versed with a weapon, so...
Your back is to the Prime Leader. Did you catch any details as they left?
No, and that's probably why I didn't twig it closely beforehand. I'm so used to looking over my shoulder and seeing Planetary Guard in their uniform. When I saw Planetary Guard running, I assumed it was one of ours chasing whoever it was that actually shot the Prime Leader. I'm afraid to say that's all I saw.
Really well.
The music is very well timed tonight, I'll give it that.
It's just like
Dun,
suspicious.
dun.
Oh, can we do the LA Noire doubt? Just be really aggressive in a face.
Going to look for Octarine, but I might be thinking of the wrong Noir game.
LA
Noir's
Noire,
the
that was a
Noir
damn
game.
good game.
Yeah, set in the 1950s.
I thought
Yeah, I
it
was
was
quoting
20s.
Discord Noir.
It might be the 20s. It's definitely before or after one of the wars. I'm not. It's after one of the wars. Not sure which one. I thought it was second because he gets discharged for killing the Japanese.
Yeah, it would have been.
You're quite right there, actually. I sit corrected. Makes more sense to be the 50s. Yeah. Anyway. Tangent. So, anything else I can help you with?
An individual such as yourself will have an astute knowledge of all of what goes on in here. I find it highly unlikely that you would be unaware of what was going on within the office.
Name me something that you feel concerned about my not knowing, and I will tell you whether or not I'd know about it.
Nova?
Hello? Ah, I see your colleague there is looking through security feeds.
Ah, it's over there. Anything of interest that we need to run by the Chief of Staff while we've got some of the valuable time?
I suppose that's a basic question of can anybody think of anything they would like to add as a question?
As we came up with
You've
giant sensors, would she potentially remember anyone was about at this time, at the same time as the executable was installed at the terminal.
Give me a sensor feed to look at, and I'll see if I recognize anybody. Or not recognize somebody.
A lot of the security information for that day seems to be missing.
Missing?
Was there anything odd going on that you could see, or that you're aware of, that might have acted as cover for this?
There was a conversation. I seem to recall. Yeah, it was before shift change. Planetary guards go through shift changes on who's meant to be on which doors at any one point in time. The Prime Leader's guard were standing outside his door as per usual. The two guys that are behind me, on either side of the office door, they're pretty much there constantly. They have 6-hour shifts. I do remember wondering why the shift change was happening so soon. I seem to recall the guard members themselves who were stationed here at the time were just as confused as I was. I peeped up from my cubicle to have a look at what the conversation was about, but I was too busy to get too much, and in case you haven't noticed, it's very busy in here, so there's a lot of chatter and conversation going on at the same time. So it's a bit difficult to hear over the noise of everybody else, but yeah, a group of guards had come in. The guards were already here. It looked like they were confused as to why there was a shift change now, but one of the guards coming on had a data pad, which I guess was proof that they were on that day.
Okay.
That's the only thing I really remember going on. That was the day of the assassination. As far as this day of when this... You're saying there was a computer program installed?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's odd, because as I'm sure our Chief Locus can tell you, we've got a pretty robust system. It would take it would take a lot for somebody to be able to hack their way into our system. I'm not saying that's impossible, but I'm saying, we got pretty high-grade security here, so...
Did that file have any created by sort of name data, etc. data as part of its metadata?
Cool. Alex, were you going to ask us a question as well?
I was just going to say, unless they already had access.
Unless they already had access. That's a good question. Okay. So Nova is in a good position, being at the security terminal, to have a look. And usually, yes, there is a user ID stamp.
Yep.
And... Ooh. Do I, don't I? For the purposes of... generating more momentum for you, since you haven't been having that much luck, I will allow Nova a control and security check. Control? I'm going to give you a reason and security check with your infiltration focus, and anybody else who wants to join in with any kind of computer security related foci and abilities would be good as well. I'm going to make this difficulty 1. Ooh, very good. Look at that. 2 extra momentum right there. Alright, so this is a pretty standard query. You're just looking at the date stamp and then the user ID of the individual who the date stamp is associated with. And at first glance, it looks like a legit a legit user ID. But when you try and trace it to an actual user, there's no user account that matches. And what you notice is that the user ID has been spoofed. So at first glance, it looks like it's a legitimate one. It has the same kind of layout and structure to it that a user ID, a legit user ID would. But when you look closely at it, you actually see that it's faked. So somebody knew enough about the system to be able to give a fake license plate kind of job.
Would you be able to trace back when it was when that ID was added to the system? So it'd have to have been set up on the system.
5 days before the assassination.
Okay. That's the same time as before.
Yes, so this is the executable we've been talking about. It was inside. It's been placed inside of.
Oh, not the execution. You said the ID. I meant the ID, not the execution. In order to do a spoofed ID, they'd have to have set that up separately to when they install it. So it's all done on the same day.
Oh no, the spoofed
That's what
ID
you're
is
saying.
just to make it look as if there's an ID. There isn't.
Okay.
So if somebody like you were to look at the ID, just as a cursory look, so if you're looking at it in a screed of data just to see what files are owned by whom and what were updated, you could give it a cursory look and you'd probably miss it because the ID looks legit. But when you go and try and match it to an actual user ID, there is no user matching that ID because the ID is a fake. It's a spoofed number. It's like trying to trace, like I said, a license plate that actually turns out to be a fabricated license plate. It'll do enough to pass a cursory examination, but when you actually look at it...
There should have been some sort of
The
log or entry of when it was first put on.
Yes, indeed.
Alex, what we're seeing is the audit system's compromised.
Oh, okay.
So yes, indeed, you should see a log of when that thing was added. The fact that you can't find one should suggest something. So with this information, what would you like to do? Do you want to keep the Chief of Staff around for any more questions? Nope. Okay.
Not from me, so I think we'll... Unless anyone else has got any questions for it, I think we'll let her get on and corner her later when we find out what she's guilty of. Alright. So, quick team chat before we follow the lead. What leads have we got?
I do believe, Commander, we should probably instruct the Navis to carry out the scan of that file that was sent to them. Although, as the captain has stated, it may cause some issues. Finding out the source of the information contained in it may help to trace the individual responsible.
Set it up in a completely separate system that's completely disconnected from the disconnected from the ship. So if anything, it will mess up. Will just be what we allow it to mess up.
Who would you like to put on this task then? Put Unit Hello back on it, or bring it down here so you can do it yourselves whilst you're on site? What would you like to do? Obviously, if you use the ship, you've got the ability to have the ship assist. But it'll have to be somebody who's on the ship that actually conducts the investigation or the trial.
We do know that the system here has already been compromised by the file.
So do you once again want Unit Hello to try and just run this program and see what it does in a controlled environment and on the Navis?
I mean, that's my vote, but up to you, Commander.
I think this needs to be investigated by the Navis team, so we'll leave it to Hello and the captain.
Okay.
Do we have any leads on this nativist group so we can find someone to go talk to?
Okay, at this point, Sotin turns back up. Yeah, Yeah, so for the the Betazoids are reading again embarrassment coming off of Sotin. We have lost sight of a number of individuals we were tracking as part of the Free Keseris movement. They have they've just dropped off the face of the planet. We can't find them. So,
Okay.
Unit Hello on the Navis has managed to successfully, with some help, create a completely isolated partition so that there is no chance of whatever this computer program does affecting anything else other than this single solitary unconnected computer. And therefore, Unit Hello runs it. And as soon as Hello runs it, it generates a lot of error logs. Those error logs generated are looking for specific log entries and security log entries. At that, it seems that the executable has been coded such that it removes specific log entries of computer access activity. It's looking for specific files on specific computers and then tries to delete them. Which means that whoever managed to install this executable file probably used it to remove all traces of whatever it is they did or whatever access happened whilst this infiltration occurred. This executable was left behind as a means of basically covering their tracks. But Unit Hello does find something interesting. There is, for some reason that Unit Hello definitely can't fathom, there's a sequence of characters been added to the end of this executable file's error log that it's generating, which doesn't make any active sense as far as data concerned, but when Unit Hello just prints the characters to a screen, it seems to suggest a shape, some kind of image. Looks like a symbol of some kind. So Unit Hello can report that back to yourselves. What would you like to do with this information?
I suppose hand it over to the
guard. That's
security and say
Okay.
they know what this Cmdr is.
Okay, so Locus comes in, takes a data pad with this image emblazoned on it. Let's have a look. Huh. Yeah. I recognize this. This is a symbol. We're a secular people here, but there's still holdouts here and there of old religions and mythologies, that kind of thing, the usual stuff you expect. A lot of people use some of our older iconography, I suppose, for anything and everything. Selling wares, naming companies after mythological figures, that kind of thing. This appears to be the symbol for our hunter deity, Tamalorn. A mighty hunter.
Do you know any of your groups on your watch list have any associations with this particular?
I can run a check. If you just give me 5 moments. In fact, your colleague, Lieutenant Nova, could probably run one. Well, she's got access to the security feed. So, Locus points Nova towards the system to do a general query, a general security query of anything to do with the symbology or the name Tamalorn. And sure enough, something pops up. There's a lot of general nonsense, like it's a character in an entertainment holo. It's also the focus of study for a number of people who like to historians who study their culture's mythology. But there's definitely a security token added to one particular result, which is a known felon. A computer hacker by the name who goes by the username Tamalorn.
Oh, we have a lead.
The name Tamalorn comes up on a number of message boards and hacking sites.
Be worth cross-referencing those boards with if he pops up again on nationalists boards or websites.
Okay.
Would that be a bit of a stretch?
Well, no, it's a search and can be done. Again, you've got full momentum now. Do you want to perform a kind of a routine roll just to see if you can generate more momentum, or are you happy with the momentum you've got? Because I'm fairly confident you'd be able to find it, but if you want to roll just to see if you can generate more momentum, I'm happy to do that too.
The amount we have is we can only get now is 5, isn't it? Because there's one less.
No, you can still get up to 6.
Can you? Okay.
The max has always been 6.
That's why I thought it was based off the amount of players.
That's threat. Threat is usually 1 or 2 threat per player that I get. But as far as I'm aware,
okay.
momentum pool maximum is usually 6.
Can do. That'll be reason and security.
Sure, if somebody wants to give it a roll, make this difficulty 1 purely because some of these message boards have got access restrictions because they don't want just anybody. 1, there you go, you get it. Alright, so you find the username Tamalorn used a lot in a lot of anti-disestablishmentarianism? No, anti-establishment sites. And you find a lot of these places are for bored individuals who just want to prove something. And they, for whatever reason, like to try and mess things up for the status quo, so they try hacking into secure places just so that they can. So there's a lot of boastful egotists, but it seems like this Tamalorn comes up an awful lot.
But nothing specifically linking him to any kind of separatist movement or anything
No.
like that.
No. But he does boast a lot about his exploits without going into specifics. He's at least clever enough to not actively mention any crimes he's actually committed, but he does, on numerous the message boards that he frequents, does brag about how easy he finds it breaking into some security systems.
Any hints if he does any of this for hire, or is it just like for the thrill?
For that, you'd probably have to see if you can get any kind of financial records, and since this is a post-scarcity environment,
we have to identify him to get records, so...
White. I'll agree with that. But you do have, now that you have his access, where he's been doing his stuff, Chief, I keep forgetting his name, Chief Locus suggests that since you've now got this Tamalon accessing message boards, you've got security clearance to be able to try and see if you can get the equivalent of a URL, a location header, from where these messages were posted from.
I mean, I'd like to think if he's a decent hacker, he'd cover up his IP. But I was thinking more the string of numbers that create that symbol, calling card, would be able to trace that appearing online to try and find them via that way, but rather than directly trying to find out where he's been posting from, because most likely he'll have some sort of, if he's a hacker worth his salt, he'll have some sort of proxy to throw people off.
Good point. Good point. Well made. Anybody else want to...
How technologically advanced are these individuals compared to the rest of the Federation?
Well, they remember World of the Federation.
But obviously, there's still different levels of technology.
They are different levels of technology.
Would we classify their security technology here as antique, or it's up to par?
It's not as cutting edge, certainly, as Federation tech. Oh, sorry, Starfleet tech. I should point out, which makes sense because you always want Starfleet to be tip top as far as tech goes. But as far as civilian stuff goes, it's what you get given by the Federation, I would suppose. So the Keserians give more priority to being allocated better tech for more important tasks, I would suppose you could say. So their weapon systems aren't as advanced as a Starfleet phaser. They're still a little behind the times on that. They at least appear to have petitioned the Federation for pretty good computer systems and security. So I would say they're not behind the curve, but they're not as far ahead of the curve as a Starfleet technology would be. If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
We have an edge, but not as much of an edge as
if it was somebody who was seriously behind the curve. So if all of their technology was the same level as their particle weaponry, then yes, the computer systems would be considered inferior.
Perhaps doing it as a two-pronged attack then may be the best route forwards. If one individual was to start trying to backtrack the proximity of the IP address, whilst the other looks for similarities upon where the sigil appears, it may provide a potential link for the two areas.
Yeah,
sounds good.
Keep it specifically the chain of numbers that are used to make the sigil.
Okay, sure. Anybody? You haven't been having much luck with momentum at the moment, have you, sir? Generating momentum. So I don't know if you want to try a... Let me think. What would be most appropriate here? This definitely seems like another security issue, but you are trying to hit it from two angles. So you are trying to improve your lot on this. Oof. Definitely going to need Nova's infiltration, because if somebody's trying to mask their ability, you're going to need somebody who knows how to deal with that kind of thing. But then you're also going to need someone with some kind of computer expertise.
Because I'm trying to remember my kind of like stereotype or those cultural ideas of hackers, and at least bit off real life, bit off the fantasy. I know that usually the handles develop not before they're actually like as far into the game as this guy is, so it might be like turning up in earlier things when he wasn't, or sorry, I say he, when they weren't doing the full level of cybercrime that they're doing now. So maybe sometimes even as early as like it's a gamer tag kind of thing. It'd be sort of like looking for similarities of this code of numbers and of like going kind of that kind of area rather than specifically just for the crimes they've done.
Yeah, that's smart thinking. I like that. Go for the history. Yeah, that makes sense to me. So, yeah, Nova can do it from the security side of things and from the history of access. Either Edwards or somebody else. I mean, it would make sense for Edwards since it's your idea, Alex.
Would I be able to say communications? Because this type of thing would have been like posted in other areas. Like I said, game taste forums, maybe just...
Your cultural studies would make just
kind of
as much sense because you are looking for the use of this specific method of this iconography as like almost like a badge, a badge of identity kind of thing.
Yeah, so because when you say specific numbers have made the symbol, I imagine you can make the symbol with other numbers, but it's the specific string.
So you're looking for someone who wants to make an image using that specific ASCII code is what we're getting at. Kind of thing. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so that sounds like.
Would I be assisting Nova, or are we running two separate roles?
Well, this sounds like science for you, and your science is pretty damn good compared to Nova's security, which is 4. So it's up to you, basically. Edwards' reason is 11 and science is 5, so it would make some sense that Nova's reason of 10 and security of 4 is lower. But it's up to Sean.
I said I'm happy to follow, or like I said, unless you want us to do two separate roles as we're hitting it from two different angles.
I'm happy to do either. In fact, it makes more sense to do it from if you're doing it from two different angles than you do it two separate roles. So yeah, that's fine. So Sean, sorry.
May I be of assistance?
Absolutely. To whoever you want to be assistance to. Sean, you with us? I'm going to take that as a no.
He's muted himself.
Tends to, though, so...
Yeah.
May have gone too long and lost him. Ah, the scientific method. 2 successes. I don't see why you'd need to re-roll that, then. In that case, Gareth, can I get you to roll Nova, please?
Yep. What am I rolling?
Pretty much what's already there. Roll it with a focus.
Okay.
Two dice, please.
2 dice.
Yes. Whoa, hello. And Turin was assisting Edwards?
Yes, because it's science-based.
Yes, cool. Okay. In that case, Alex, did you roll yours?
Yep.
Awesome. 3 successes. 5 in total. With 3 from you. Awesome. That's a lot of extra momentum generated there. Alright, working together. Yes. There is evidence of this specific method of creating this icon discovered throughout a lot of different hacking sites, but some instances of hacks which have had this calling card left, which were early and small time, can be traced back to be businesses and other security interests that happen within a definite area. Any criminal who's starting out for the first time, even if they're just testing the waters, tend to stick pretty close to home as far as cultural studies would suggest. So you narrow down the area to which this individual could very well be found. And so, to aid you, Planetary Guard Locus puts a security ping out for any suspicious activity going on in that area, and as it turns out, there's an apartment within an apartment building that seems to be consuming a lot more power than its resource allocation, which is how they manage the economy here on Keseris. They are a resource-based economy. So this single apartment seems to be generating a lot more power than they should be allocated.
Nope.
Limited power.
It's true. That's what he thinks he's got.
So, what would you like to do now?
Probably plan a raid.
Plan a raid. Okie dokie.
I mean, that would be my idea, but obviously I'm not the commanding officer.
That
Oh.
seemed like a really good idea.
Given the ultimate punishment, transport him into the very heart of the port nacelle. We'll never hear from him again.
I'm sorry, but I've got instructions from command on that one. Something about the Aldebaran Treaty? Something about the Romulans said you can't use the port nacelle and please don't use cloaking devices. It made so much sense it made no sense at the time, but in retrospect, it's definitely about this situation.
Righty doos. So you've got a possible location. What would you like to do with it?
I mean, commander's given the okay. Let's pick this guy up and question him.
Cool. All right. So, everybody going on this?
The guy, person. Yeah.
Cool. Sotin will offer to go with you, which means that Locus has to stay behind because he is head of security. So, let me switch. And yes, they offer you it's essentially a small shuttlecraft, kind of the civilian equivalent of cars to get around the place, so they can shepherd you around easier. Let me get you all in a group so that I can get you to the next area. So, you find yourselves in an apartment building, and the building itself isn't great. It's a bit run down. Needless to say, the landlord is a bit shocked when not only Planetary Guard appear at his door, but Starfleet as well. But he's more than cooperative. When asked about why this specific apartment building seems to be drawing more power than is allocated to the building and its tenants, the landlord just shrugs and says that the guy who rents this apartment comes and goes as he pleases. Doesn't see him very often. Sometimes stays in the apartment for days and just orders food in. But the landlord does allow you access to the room, and so you are able to make entrance. You find the place untidy, which really is pretty much exactly what you were expecting. There's food cartons and whatnot all over the place, which means the guy couldn't even be bothered to put the used food back in the replicator. But the one thing that does dominate most of this place is the fact that there is very expensive-looking computer equipment dotted around the place. So, there is nobody actually here at this point in time, however, so the individual you were looking for does not appear to be present.
We can either very carefully try to look at his stuff, but he may, if this guy is paranoid, he may have installed fail safes to wipe any information, or we could try and wait for him and catch him in the act.
Perhaps it is also worthwhile setting up a perimeter watch in case the individual does return before we have had a chance to fully investigate.
Sotin backs that.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a good idea to me. I can keep my man here on the door. I can put myself on the entrance to the apartment building. Maybe one of yours can too.
I believe that would hold more suspicion with having people open in the area. Perhaps watching from a distance for individuals heading to the apartment complex.
That works.
Plain clothed members, especially in the area, just to keep an eye.
If your man, Mr. Bravo here, wants to appear incognito, we've got civilian clothing he can put on over his uniform if he wants to. Same goes for anyone else who wants to take point. I will take the silence as an affirmation.
What's Tyrin's security? Tyrin's got security of 1, so she's not really security based. Also, a Vulcan would probably stick out, because I assume that they are pretty much humanoid, aren't they?
Yes. Alrighty. So, so who is standing, let me just put him a little separate from everybody else. Who is keeping watch outside the building then, besides Bravo and Sotin, or are the rest of you rifling through this Tamerlane's stuff?
I mean, based off the fact is that I probably could pass one of them. Edwards could pass one of them. He's happy to volunteer to scare outside while Nova tinkers around with his equipment.
Okay.
Vipers is gonna look around to see if there's anything else here which is the sort of thing he'd encounter from some of his Orion contacts. If there's anything a bit out of order, anything that looks like it shouldn't really be here.
Okay. So, looking around inside of the apartment, you are somewhat relieved that you don't find any indication that this guy, Tamerlane, has any off-planet contacts. There's nothing suggesting that this guy has worked for the Orion Syndicate or any other Orions for that matter anytime recently. Naturally, his computer is password protected, but after you have a look around, what you do find is a lot of data rods all stacked neatly together, and they're all ordered according to date. Actually, no, scratch that. Let me check my notes a second. They are all ordered according to alphabetical order of names. And the names appear to be companies and institutions. From the looks of things, it looks like this guy has kept a library, potentially of the programs that he has used to break into certain specific establishments.
Interesting.
One of the most recent appears to be planetary, is labelled Planetary Guard and Government.
I just realised we need to speak to Lionel. We don't know what name this apartment's actually registered under and what details.
No. Speaking to the landlord, he gives the equivalent, blah, 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 blah. He gives the Keseris equivalent of John Smith.
Ah, that's annoying.
Can I get
Well,
Commander
how's he paying his
Bravo?
rent?
Can I get Commander Bravo and Jonathan Edwards separately Sean, you back with us yet? Nope, we have indubitably lost a Sean. Okay. Can I have Bravo, whoever wants to be Bravo, and Edwards, probably Webby, give me insight and security checks.
Why would Webby need to roll? Oh, you mean as Bravo? Sorry.
As Bravo,
Davis,
yeah.
Davis hasn't rolled for a while.
Well, if Davis wants to roll as Bravo,
No.
then Davis can.
Can do. Right, insight
who's
and
leading?
security.
No, both of you separately. Separate instances.
Focus
for
of
Edwards.
telepathy.
Too many minds about. I'm going to go with security protocol.
Okay.
He's had training. He knows who to look for. Jeez. Leopard print dice? I couldn't see what was on those. Anyway.
I didn't see anything of it. Cut me off mid-roll.
It might explain why I haven't seen the result yet.
Wait, who rolled the leopard print?
I think Davis
It's not
did.
come through. It's
I
not come
clicked
through
the
yet.
roll, but it hasn't come through. Okay.
I saw the dice, but I didn't see what the dice had because of the god-awful leopard print. So...
It's not come up on the side either.
Right, there we go. A 10 and a 2.
I've rolled again.
So 2 successes for Edwards, 3 successes for Bravo. So both of you clock the same guy. So you're both out on the street. And the guy that you clock is so cliche that you think it can't possibly be the fella you're looking for. Because he's wearing wraparound shades that appear to have some kind of UI going on inside of his view of the lenses.
So it looks basically a bit like Matrix meets Cyberpunk.
Something like that,
Yeah.
yes. So you're at first inclined to just entirely ignore this guy because he's so obvious he couldn't possibly be your guy. Until he enters the lobby of the apartment building. And it looks like he's looking to go upstairs. So, Bravo and Edwards, what are you doing?
I think Bravo would kind of get the impression of, let's follow,
I was
block his
thinking,
escape route.
but keep it at a distance.
Okay.
The sound gun prepped and tuned for his species.
Keseris.
Shoot the neighbours.
Yeah, yes, I would recommend a tight angle beam rather than a wide angle burst.
No, that's the point. It's a sound. If we're doing this in the hallway, this is going to be interesting.
So, with Bravo and Edwards following at a safe enough distance behind, this guy starts going up the stairs. And as soon as he gets to the 5th floor, which is where the apartment is, with you guys in some of these guys in the apartment, pardon me, I can't talk tonight. The assigned planetary guard, obviously Sotin is backing up Bravo and Edwards because he moved when you moved. The planetary guard was stationed on the door of the apartment. He's still standing outside of it. The moment this guy comes up on the floor and looks up to see somebody standing outside of the apartment, he stops, looks around, and then turns around and starts to walk back the other way, which is when he bumps into you guys, Edwards and Bravo, and Sotin. What would you like to do?
Playing is like, good evening, Tamalon. You really look like a very small stereotype.
Tamalon is now looking about furiously. Bravo gets the very definitive sense of, gotta find a way out, gotta find a way out.
As Bravo's anyone getting this, what is Bravo going to do as his reaction?
I think Bravo is going to suggest that that he doesn't try it, and that he's under arrest. We're here to question about the unsolicited power usage that's going off within the facility.
We're
I'm,
armed. That's a bit.
Yeah, police are generally armed.
He's looking back furiously between the guard on the door and the three at the end of the corridor.
Yeah, don't even think about it. It's not worth it. And do you know how much paperwork we have to do for shooting a phaser at you and having to patch you up when you broke your nose when you fall over? Please don't.
This sounds like intimidation to me.
Okay, right.
Presence and security?
All I can think of
Can
is
I use a focus of composure?
Sure. What was that, Gareth, you said?
all I can think of is the Rob Newman thing of there is no way out.
Yes, indeed.
There is only paperwork.
So yes, with Vipers coming out and suggesting that, yes, the other way out is very messy. This way out just involves paperwork. Tamalorn slowly puts his hands up and surrenders himself. So, you cut off his escape route, so that was very clever of you. Otherwise, we'd have had a chase sequence there. But
So we shouldn't have cut off his escape route because you got a chase sequence planned.
no, I didn't have one planned exactly. It's not like I had a streak, but I was fully prepared to have him run, but you guys cut him off. Well done. Nicely, nice. So what we're going to do next is we are going to coalesce you guys into a little group so that we can go to the Popo.
So you have to very carefully analyze his equipment. That's a good point. See how well Nova's been doing in getting into it without dismembering it.
Yes. If Sean's about. Sean, you still not with us? Because if you are talking, unfortunately, we can't hear you. Okay, never mind.
Perhaps the training course he was on today. He's fallen asleep.
It's entirely possible, and if that's the case, then can't blame him there. All right.
So, what did he say?
He's on a training course today.
Ah.
Okie dokie. Alrighty do. So.
See what we can learn before we finish.
Yes, indeed. Alright, so sometime later, Locus comes out of the interrogation room and says, well, we didn't get much from him. He clammed up and stayed silent the entire time. But... and he does refuse to cooperate. But thanks to your assistance, we did manage to find something on him. The large amount of resources that he was recently allocated was apparently made through various actually made to him 6 days prior to the assassination. And was made by a small mineral prospecting company, which appears to be the shell of a larger company. You were going to ask something, Alex.
No, I'll wait.
That's pretty much it. We don't have much more because it will take time and expertise to try and track these finances. Unless, of course, you've got a method of breaking through this faster. Technically, I would have to start requesting access to the financial records of this company, which could take some time, because I have to go through the motions. Nonetheless, we at least have the hacker now. And so, it takes a little time, but with assistance from all of yourselves, with your abilities with computers and security and such, the mineral prospecting company was a shell of a larger company, which itself was the shell of another, and on and on. But eventually, tracking through these resource finances, we'll find that eventually it comes to a stop at a company called Backrut Trading Corps, which is one of the biggest mineral trading companies in the system, operated by a man known as Nagon Backrut. He apparently is the son of a merchant magnate and therefore had the business handed to him. Interestingly enough, in your investigations into Negron Backrut, you do find more than one sensor video feed of this man appearing in public next to no less than Clytisi Jadaro, the member of the political rival of the dead Prime Leader. Negron Backrut appears at a lot of Jadaro's rallies, where she's speaking about seceding from the Federation. So, I think that's a reasonable place to leave it, because you now have another lead, more or less. Something to look into at the very least. So, seeing as we are almost out of time, I will finish us there, unless somebody had anything they wanted specifically to add or to mention. Excellent. Then in that case, hopefully Sean doesn't sleep too long. Somebody comes along and gives him a nudge. Nevertheless, poor Sean. We'll keep him apprised of the situation for next time. So, yes. Hopefully this has been... actually, I'll talk about that once we finish the stream. But we will continue this next week, which is the 11th of March. So is everybody free for that?
Should be.
Should be free for that.
Excellent.
Okay.
In that case... Sorry, what was that? What was that? Nope, nothing? Okay, I just heard a noise. I thought it was somebody about to jump.
I think it was Davis saying should be.
Cool. All right then. In that case, thank you everybody for taking part, and thank you everybody who watched. If you were watching this and did enjoy it, then thank you very much for your patronage. If you're watching this on YouTube later on, then consider giving us a like if you liked it, because it helps out not only us, but everybody to do with Star Trek and actual plays of role-playing games, because it appeases our Lord and Master, the algorithm. Say it with me, folks. All hail the algorithm. Did you sound any less enthusiastic? I don't blame you. It is the algorithm. Nevertheless, I would ask you to do like the Vulcans do, which is live long and prosper. But also, what did Turin do today? She's a bit sassy. Give it some Vulcan sass. If and when you can.
She was he just made a joke and she didn't find the humour.
Fair enough. In that case, do like the Vulcans do. Get the hang of humour, but slowly. Nevertheless, we ask you to also engage in infinite diversity and infinite combinations, which is something I think this world sorely needs at the moment. And in that regard, we hope to see you next time to conclude this episode story and see what happens next. So until then, we ask you to take care of yourselves, treat each other with respect and kindness, because heavens knows this world needs it at this moment. So we will see when we see you next. Until then, hailing frequencies are now closed.